Good morning. Oh my gosh, good morning, Facebook. I am like kind of speechless because our guest today for Friday Morning Life Inspired is my favorite person in the whole world. And I made sure I got tissues because I thought I might need them. Just because our guest today is Scott Bennett, my husband. And wow, I can't believe I'm all choked up. So we're so excited to have you guys on Life Inspired and watch with us. And if you are tuning in for the first time, this is a weekly program that we do every Friday morning about 9:30, and we're talking about why people follow Jesus. Life was going along, and there was a ... turning point moment that the guest is going to talk about, and then how they're walking inspired since that turning point, and then God moment. And so today's guest is Scott Bennett, my wonderful favorite person and best friend. And lots of people have various turning points. Lots of people have different times.
I told you to say all that stuff, right?
Yeah, you told me to say all that stuff. Yeah, that you were my favorite person.
Right.
So lots of people have various turning points, but we usually just talk about one in particular. So I think I know the turning point you're going to talk about. So set us up.
I hope so.
Yeah, what's the backstory about the one you're going to share? So you're going to tell us a little bit about the backstory before this turning point. What were things going on in life at that time?
Well, I was a golf professional for 25 years, and I was the golf pro at Knollwood Country Club.
Right.
And I was the golf pro there for 13 years. And, man, I loved it. I loved being a golf pro. It was great.
Especially when you worked with Ernie.
Yeah. But when the economy kind of tanked it in 2009, I made quite a bit of money at Knollwood, and they were having difficulty, and so they ended up making a change. I don't think because of anything that I did. It was just they're trying to save some money, and so I had lost my job, and that was very difficult because I didn't just lose my job. I lost my my identity, kind of, because I at that time had identified myself with being a golf pro and being with my work, which I think a lot of men do that. They identify with their work. You know, when you go to a party or something and guys meet each other, they go like, "Hey, my name's Tim. What do you do?" You know, so that was my deal, and I loved it, and I was very proud and I think, very good at what I did, and really liked it. And I had never lost a job before, never been fired, never anything. And so been let go of any job ever. And now I don't even know how old I was, probably 45 or so.
Well, so 10 years ago, yeah, you were 45.
Yeah, so so I'm 45 years old, I lose my job, I don't know what I'm going to do, and even though you were successful, you have to stop with the crying
I'm
stuff.
Sorry,
because
I can't help it. They just come out.
So
I can't help it.
So didn't know what I was going to do, even though you were doing great as in the real estate business. But I just didn't know what I was going to do. So, and I was kind of mad at God,
I didn't know that.
Oh.
I remember
You don't remember in the kitchen sitting there, me at the island, and me fussing and griping at God?
I don't remember. I don't remember that.
What
I remember was like the first day you lost your job, you told me on the phone before we got to see each other in person, and you said, "I'm sure this is going to be a great thing," or something like that. You said...
Well, it didn't feel like that.
No, I know, but you said, "I'm sure this is for the best, something like that. You had been unhappy for a while there because after changes, when Ernie
Well,
left.
if you belong to Knollwood, we loved it there, and then
We did love it
I
there.
enjoyed it there, and I enjoyed all the relationships that I had.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, you know, I felt because I thought at that time that all of my friends were at the club, and that didn't end up being the case. So
So the turning point would be the time that you lost it.
yeah. So it's just a change in my life and what I do and how I do things, and going to something different and not understanding what God had planned. So,
So how did things change after that?
well, I'm a home inspector now. I inspect houses for real estate transactions. So, I mean, I would have never thought I would have done anything like that.
But you're very good at that too.
I think I'm good at it because I see things. I'm sitting here looking right now. I'm in TJ's place, and I'm looking over
Watch out,
here,
TJ.
and he has these foam things on the wall, but they don't all totally meet up perfect. There's little gaps in between there, and stuff like that. So I see stuff like that. So that makes me good at what I do. But
But you don't like it as much as you liked golf.
well, I get to play more golf now.
That's true.
You know, and but I was kind of unsure, like why the heck are you doing this, God? And so I think when I look back at what happened, I think it was I had an opportunity to spend more time with my kids.
Yes.
So when I was working at the club, I'd work 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and I wasn't home very often, and when I was home, I was tired from working all day, and even though I got to spend time with the kids, I didn't really get to know that much about them. So now you're working and I'm not working as much, and now I'm hauling them to all the places that they have to go to, band places, which I all that stuff that I didn't much care
Theater
to
stuff
do and all that stuff.
golf. Well, you probably liked the golf stuff, right?
Yeah, I didn't mind that, but
Except I remember you saying you kind of wish you were playing. You like to play more than watch.
yes.
Yes.
So yeah, I get to spend more time with my kids. I got to take them to their stuff. I got to, I was there a lot of times when they get home from school. I was that worked out to be great, but it was still kind of a kick in the gut, it's like, why didn't somebody like me, and God, what are you thinking? I mean, I got this all figured out, and here you are doing something different. So I would say that would be my turning point. Yeah.
And so a friend had been bugging you to come to a men's group for a long time. And this was the time when you're like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to go to that, right?
Yes. So, my friend Tim Alley invited me to go.
Be real with a bunch of men, right? And you had to be humble there. And you found out that there was something wrong with everybody else there too, right?
Yes, yeah. So I know Tim's watching, so thanks, Tim. But yeah, I went to this men's group, and I thought that my problems were unique to me, and they're not. Every one of those guys is screwed up.
We love you guys.
And they all have issues, and they all deal with pretty much the same stuff that I deal with. So it was comforting to go to that, and even though it was at they meet at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is kind of yuck to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday, but it's a habit that you start, and kind of like us praying after we make the bed. I found out with those guys it was a great support group during the time, and it still is a great support group, a group of guys that meet and talk about life, and if you're looking for a men's group, we meet at Heritage Square, Martin's, 6 o'clock in the morning. You don't need to do anything but show up.
Yep, don't have to read anything ahead of time or anything like that.
No.
You just show up and talk about life and God.
Yep.
And so, if you were going to talk to some guys just like you, what would you tell them about why you didn't want to go to that men's group before, and why you decided to go?
Well, I think a lot of guys, and I still struggle with this on a daily basis. I think I'm in control of stuff. Holy moly. I'm not in control of anything. I'm driving down the road to come here today, and it's icy. I can't control if that car over there slides into my lane and hits me or whatever. I might think I'm in control, but I'm in control of very little, So you have to, I think I'm still learning that I have to give that away and give that to God. Hey, you're in control. Obviously, He knows better than I do on what needs to happen, and it's just a trust thing. Having some faith. It's kind of like faith in this chair. When I sat down, I had faith that it was going to hold my big fanny, but yeah. So, giving it to Him and letting Him, handle it, which is a relief a lot of times. You understand that you're not in control. I'm giving it to God, and you got it. And if this is what you want, then I guess I'm on board with it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we always like to ask our guests how they stay inspired. So what do you personally do to stay connected and feel His inspiration every day? What does quiet time look like for Scott Bennett? Because every different person that I've ever had as a guest connects a different way, and the way you connect might really resonate with somebody that is not connecting and is wanting and searching. So what do you do? How do you stay inspired?
Well, if they watch this on a regular basis, they know you, and faith is in our family and in our house, and we don't have I don't have a lot of choice. You pray a lot and you do all that stuff, so we do that. But I watch stuff on YouTube. I might watch Andy Stanley, or I might watch Craig Rochelle, or something like that, so I'll watch that, and it's funny. I have a friend of mine, Chris Dosboy, I think he's done this before.
No, Chris hadn't been a guest.
Well,
you got to be a guest,
he's
Chris.
Chicken. So, but whatever. Chris came to men's group, and he brings his Bible with him, his actual paper Bible, and was looking at it, and the thing was all marked up and lined up, and I'm like, man, I don't have any markings or anything in my Bible. So, so I started to, I think that was a big deal, is I wanted to be able to just underline some stuff in my Bible that I thought was a good thing. And so I sit there and I'll watch those videos or whatever, and then I'll, I break out my little ruler and my little pen, and sometimes a highlighter, and I'll sit there and I'll watch that, and I underline what I think, and what I think God's leading me to do, and so that's, I don't do it every day. I don't. I wish I was more regimented to do that every day, but if I do it 4 times a week, it's better than doing it no times a week. So, I try not to beat myself up if I don't do it every day. But, so that's basically how I do it. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
I want to just thank the men who have poured into you because they have blessed our family. And I want to thank God for the stuff that He's done in your life and in our lives and in our life together. I just, I know if anybody wanted to talk to Scott, have coffee with him about, following God or talk to him about men's group, you can message us here. We'll put you in touch with him. We can hook you up on Facebook. He's on Facebook. And
I don't look at it that much, but I'm on it.
but we'll get to him if you guys want to have coffee with him. So thank you guys for watching. We're always glad to have you. If you know somebody that needs to be sitting on this red couch and tell their story, we want more stories. So message us that too. Thanks for watching Facebook. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.